Gossiping, when academic criticism go wild. Today, I'd like to talk about this topic of gossiping because you may never have a chance to learn this in a class, or nobody ever give you a conversation about gossiping. But you know, this is the biggest research enemy of productive use of funding and research. When something goes wrong, the easiest way out is to complain and to blame it on another person. We all have a little part of this person in ourselves. I hope this video changed your perspective and encourage you to be a more productive worker instead of an unproductive gossiper. Welcome back to PhD Coffee Time. This is the online community for you as PhD student to get motivation, peer support, and practical tips during your PhD. You are not alone in academia to have gossip. Your brain, as an academic, even mine, starts from over-criticizing everything, and sometimes this is not helpful in the team. A lot of time, people are challenged by not being able to give constructive criticism. They internalize the negativity, and they turn to another person who is not involved in the project to tell and vent about the problem. And this is going to lead to mistrust, it's going to segregate the institution. It's not helping anybody, because by the end, if your group and your team is not doing and performing, you are not benefiting at all. It's a sinking boat, so to speak. I think it's a part of human bonding that people like to talk about the negative experience. I forgot I'm afraid of height. I made a mistake. And then they share a similar empathy feeling. In science, our funding is already precious and limiting. Postdoc contracts are getting shorter and shorter. PhD student time is precious. You also have to balance out your limited time with coursework, graduation, and looking for a job. Most of us don't get to become professor. If you are productive, the only correct way to do science is to make sure you fully embrace this limiting time. Treat it like a date with your dream man or the dream person. Not to second guess, just get things done. Think about gossip as if it is your enemy. And this video is gossiping about gossiping people. 4 main reasons why gossiping is terrible for everybody. First of all, gossiping is demoralizing. If you have limited resources and small number of team members, you better work well with each other and not to have this criticizing game. Unless you are in a huge institution and you don't care and you collect a paycheck. Second of all, you are giving the power away to the person who damaged you or make the harm. The moment you are telling the negative story of how bad it is, how terrible that person is, you are actually giving away the power of fixing it yourself. The other thing is when you're talking to a colleague and you complain about the negative experience, gossiping can also create a negative friction of people who haven't even met each other, and you just talk about the other person poorly, and now I have a negative connotation of this person is bad. But on the other hand, it tells that person, you are incompetent of solving your own problem, that's why you told me about it. Instead, I hope you would look at negative experience as an opportunity. In Chinese, the word crisis consists of 2 words, 危機. When there is a risk, there is always an opportunity. When you have a negative experience, I hope you can think of the opportunity that it implies. When you have a difficult situation, think of it as an opportunity to streamline other process or reprioritize your project on the plate, or to share the workload to train some younger people to do the work. So there is always a positive side to it. I hope to conclude by giving you the practical tips on how to give feedback. When you have a difficult situation, imagining it's a person who is doing damage, you can give that person the comment by using sandwich. Sandwich means you give them a compliment in the beginning, you give the criticism, and then you conclude by telling them, reinforcing, I believe in you, I think you can do it. Start with a positive tone. I think you have already done a great job on part A, but part B look like a mess right now, but considering how well part A has been done, I know you can do it, and let's review this again next week. You see how the tone is different when you put your comment criticism into shit sandwich. So how you can control gossip? If someone is coming to you and gossiping about other people, the first tip is don't participate. You can empathize with the person's feeling. I'm seeing that you are having a bad day. I understand it must be difficult for you. But you don't have to agree with the viewpoint, you don't have to agree with the comment on another person's personality, whatever. But you can also tell the person politely saying, I'm in the middle of something, let me finish doing this experiment. We can have a cup of tea, I can give you a hug. How about that? See how you can just make sure you streamline your day towards productive tasks and get things done. And guess what? When people are getting things done productively, you are not likely to have negative experience that will require gossiping. So everyone's happy here. It's a win-win situation. And on the other hand, if you start the downward spiral of gossiping, negativity, you're spending time on it, and you're losing time on your real work, that's really the time when you get into problem. So I want to conclude by learning from the greatest philosopher, that is my cat. You can't control the situation, but you can always control the narrative. For example, I rescued my 2 cats, and in my narrative is I rescued them, I gave them food and shelter, I am the hero. But maybe my cat's narrative, they probably think that this crazy woman needs a life and I'm here to rescue her because since she really feels lonely and I give her my company and make her life better. I am the rock star of her life and you better feed me, woman. This is a little weird, but you get my point. You control your narrative instead of victimizing the negative experience. You actually can change the narrative, turning yourself from a victim to a victor. I hope this video inspires you to look at your negative, challenging problem in PhD in a different light. If you're not going through struggle in your research, you're not doing research properly. Let's put it that way. So hang in there and don't let the negativity drain you and drown you. If you need more positivity, this is the channel for you, and I hope to fine-tune all of your mindsets out there, and let's get back to work. Please hit the like button if you think I've changed your mindset in a little way, and share this with another person if they come to you and gossip. This is the video you can share with them, and you can go back to your lab and get things done. Do you spend your time dwelling long hours scrolling Facebook in the lab and complain about long hours in the lab? You, as a manager of your own time, you need to do better